Good evening. Tonight, we gather to celebrate the amazing work that HealthRIGHT 360 has done for decades and continues to do throughout these unprecedented times. This organization is special because of its commitment to compassion, a commitment we are proud to not just recognize, but to work to integrate into our city's mental health and substance use treatment and care systems. Because we know that when we meet people where they are, with compassion and understanding, we give people hope. Hope for a brighter future, hope for a second chance, hope for recovery as our city also begins to recover from this pandemic. To the staff and many volunteers at HealthRIGHT 360, I am so grateful for all you have done, especially over this past year, helping people get tested and vaccinated and find safe shelter and healthcare resources, and launching our street crisis response teams, which have already been incredibly successful, responding to more than 700 calls to help people in crisis. I'm also glad we were able to open a drug sobering center where people can get connected to treatment options in a safe and supportive space. I look forward to continuing our work to make sure that every San Franciscan can get the care they need, no matter their race, gender, orientation, or income, because we all share the belief that healthcare is a human right. Thank you to Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who will be joining us this evening as well. We are truly grateful for your strong leadership in our city and this country. Now it is my honor to introduce someone I have been proud to work alongside for many, many years. Welcome HealthRIGHT 360 President and CEO, Dr. Vitka Isen.
Thank you so much, Mayor Breed, for your kind words and your enduring support for our work and our community. Good evening, friends. It's been a year since our last black tie and tie-dye event, and although we're making great strides in the fight against COVID-19 disease here we are, still joining together in the digital realm. Think about it. It's been over 1 year of living the Zoom life, of wearing masks, sheltering in place, distance learning, 6 feet of social distance. 1 year, and what a long, strange trip it's been. This past year brought us some of our greatest challenges, and it also highlighted our greatest strengths. The pandemic rolled over us like a wave. HealthRIGHT 360 scrambled to keep up with the evolving information, to secure PPE, to establish a robust telehealth service, and to establish protocols to safeguard clients and staff in our programs. As essential workers, our primary care clinics and behavioral health residential programs continued to operate face-to-face without interruption. As COVID-19 surged in California, our staff deployed to provide medical services in the residential shelter-in-place hotels established to house high-risk individuals experiencing homelessness. We took on the operation of 2 of San Francisco's isolation and quarantine hotels for individuals who have COVID-19, and we became a community vaccination site as soon as vaccines became available for distribution. It was a tough year, and HealthRIGHT 360, our community, did not escape unscathed. COVID-19 touched our community and took from us 2 beloved staff members. We worked to contain outbreaks as the pandemic exploded in California in December of 2020. Our always dedicated and amazing staff were heroic. Flexibility, adaptability, innovation, cool heads, warm hearts, and always an eye on the latest science. These are the attributes that our organization exhibits under normal circumstances. These qualities helped us to continue to care for some of our community's most vulnerable residents, people struggling with substance use, mental illness, and homelessness. We worked tirelessly to keep people safe from COVID, but also safe from the rising tide of drug overdoses. A quiet crisis hid behind the pandemic. More people died of drug overdoses this past year in San Francisco than from COVID, and the nation witnessed the highest incidence of overdose deaths ever, over 90,000 people. Facing those kind of numbers, there was no way we could let COVID-19 stand between us and the people we serve. Last summer, HealthRIGHT 360 took a strong stance in support of the Black Lives Matter movement, joining in protests, in calls to action against systemic racism, and in advocating for alternatives to policing, particularly in matters of drug use and mental illness. We've spent much of the past year examining our own work internally, our services, our policies, practices in hiring, our client outcomes, all through a lens of racial justice. We have a long road ahead of us, but as Paulo Freire said, we make the road by walking. As part of the journey, HealthRIGHT 360 is partnering with the Department of Public Health in 2 new efforts to engage people in crisis so as to avert police intervention. We're a part of San Francisco's new street crisis response team, and we're planning to open the city's first drug sobering center, a place where people in the streets under the influence of meth, cocaine, fentanyl, and other drugs can come to rest, pace, eat, shower, and most importantly, engage in care and connection with services. These services bring us back full circle to our origin as Haight Ashbury Free Clinics and Rock Medicine. Meeting people with love, compassion, and connection has defined our work since our founding during the Summer of Love in 1967. Tonight, you're in for a real treat as we journey back to our roots. Stay with us. You'll hear some great music and hear some great stories from icons of that period of time through today, from individuals who were in the Haight and supported the clinic at its birth. But now we have a special guest, the Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives, longtime and stalwart supporter of health justice and of HealthRIGHT 360, Madam Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
Hello, everyone. Thank you to President and CEO Vitka Eisen and my long-term aide, Gary McCoy, who is now HealthRIGHT's Director of Public Affairs, for bringing us together this evening. It is a joy to join supporters of HealthRIGHT 360 on the occasion of your black tie and tie-dye benefit concert. 54 years ago, the Haight Ashbury Free Clinic was born from a simple but powerful premise: healthcare is a right, not a privilege. That these words continue to serve as a rallying cry in the Democratic Party today is a testament to the impact of Haight Ashbury's founder, Dr. David Smith. As San Francisco struggled with how to care for the young people arriving for the Summer of Love, Dr. Smith rose to the occasion. His groundbreaking clinic offered treatment for addiction, infectious disease, and mental health. Today, Dr. Smith's vision continues to guide HealthRIGHT 360 as its North Star. You stand as a model for our nation and a force for justice in our city. From primary care services to substance abuse treatments to housing and career support, you are helping the San Franciscans most in need stay healthy and get back on their feet. When the pandemic struck, hitting our most vulnerable communities the hardest, HealthRIGHT 360 stepped up. By staffing up your workforce, expanding your testing, and ramping up vaccinations, you have helped save countless lives and keep the greater San Francisco community safe and healthy during this crisis. For this heroic work, we salute your courageous doctors, nurses, and support staff who have demonstrated extraordinary resilience and dedication to those in their care. As our nation looks ahead, we will strive to follow your example and live up to your founding promise to secure health care as a right for every American. Thank you, HealthRIGHT 360, for your remarkable service to our community, and best wishes for a wonderful concert.
Good evening. Thank you, DJ Logic, for kicking off the Black Tie and Tie-Dye benefit concert this evening. That was an impressive selection, jamming new jazz and hip-hop. And a big thank you to everyone for joining us this evening. Incredible people have already joined, with San Francisco's wonderful Mayor London Breed, my friend and CEO of HealthRIGht 360, Wittke Eisen, and Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. We are in some great company. I am Ben Fong-Torres, and I'm here with Sunshine Powers. There she is. Together, we will be your hosts for tonight's festivities. We are celebrating Haight Ashbury Free Clinics' 54th year of serving the San Francisco community. And soon you will hear from the founder of this legendary clinic, a national icon, and one of the leaders in the field of addiction medicine, Dr. David Smith.
I don't want to interrupt your flow, Ben, but I would like to introduce you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ben Fong-Torres. He is a 5-time Emmy winner and was senior writer and editor of Rolling Stone magazine. He interviewed Bob Dylan, Bonnie Raitt, Marvin Gaye, and he is the author of several books, including Becoming Almost Famous, in addition to years of DJing and his Fog City radio show. He is the subject of a new documentary that is being premiered this week at the Tribeca Film Festival called Like a Rolling Stone, The Life and Times of Ben Fong-Torres. And he was portrayed in the Cameron Crowe film Almost Famous by Terry Chen. Just saying that I am a fan.
Oh, well, I need a fan now. I'm beginning to blush. But thank you, Sunshine. Thank you. We are here on the corner of Haight Street and Masonic in San Francisco at Love on Haight, the tie-dye emporium that my beautiful co-host Sunshine Powers owns and operates. Sunshine is the official queen of the Haight, and she is the president of the Haight Ashbury Merchants Association. She loves Dr. David Smith so much that she named her beloved dog Dr. Dave. Woof. It can be confusing.
Woof, woof. You can bid on some amazing auction items during this whole event, including some tie-dye tapestries from the tie-dye contest in 2020, memorable hotel stays, and so much more. Check out the website at the bottom of the screen to know where to go for auction items.
And on with our show, here is Dr. David Smith, the real Dr. Dave, founder of the Haight Ashbury Free Clinic.
Welcome to the 54th anniversary of the Haight Ashbury Free Clinics and its parent organization, HR 360. I'm sitting here in one of the original exam rooms that was opened in June of 1967. So the Haight Ashbury Free Clinic started as David E. Smith, MD and Associates, because the city would not allow us to have a clinic. We had a large number of individuals that donated medical supplies, exam tables, the medications, the volunteers from UC Med Center, pharmacists came, and so we had a full-fledged, really quite advanced integrated medical facility dealing with medical, psychiatric, and addiction issues. When they would have mass arrests, as they did with police sieges, just one block from here, they arrested 200 people. And Mike Stepanian, who became chairman of our board, formed the Haight Ashbury Legal Organization and actually set up a table for the large numbers of these young people that were arrested. The most dramatic was the Grateful Dead bus just up the street. So you saw all the activist lawyers challenging the system, and that was how the Haight Ashbury Free Clinic was born. The free came from the concept of a free, non-judgmental city by Deggers and Peter Coyote. What we did was we took the concept of free and translated it into a medical facility. That concept spread across the country. In the 70s, developed rock medicine, in part because this clinic was built on rock and roll. So the first rock medicine event was just up the street here at the Snack Concert organized by Bill Graham. So it's the philosophy of healthcare as a right, not a privilege. It's always focused on vulnerable populations, those individuals that the dominant culture does not want to deal with, wish they weren't around. And this really became a big issue in the 80s. The gay community was an agent of urban revival in the Haight. And suddenly, this terrible AIDS epidemic hit. And we saw them, the AIDS patients coming here, And again, discrimination hit. It was called gay cancer, or in fact, they found out that it was transmitted by a virus. And it was the beginnings of the whole study of virology that really impacts on the current COVID epidemic. Dr. John Neumeier, who was our epidemiologist, initiated what was called Teach and Bleach, focused on non-judgmental harm reduction, hoping to stabilize the individual until they decided that they wanted to move into a healthier lifestyle. We started a large-scale detox program, but that fueled the whole field of addiction medicine. And one of the most important parts of that was that wonderful woman, Victor Eisen, who is the CEO of HR 360, initially came to the detox program right across the street and detoxed her for heroin. HR 360, under the leadership of Victor Eisen, has transformed into the largest nonprofit provider to vulnerable populations, focusing on the homeless, individuals coming out of the criminal justice system, dealing with education, treatment protocols, testing. It's on the front lines of COVID, emphasizing that healthcare inequality is still a big issue today. And so the legacy continues on, and one of the exciting things is that all the rays of energy that started in this little area have permeated all across the country. The healthcare workers are the future to keep doing what we got right, not make the mistakes that we did, the old timers did, and continue the message. So thank you for your support of Haight Ashbury Free Clinic and HR 360, and I appreciate all your efforts in keeping this going. Thank you.
If you like what you heard from the Honorable Nancy Pelosi and the Honorable London Breed, our amazing mayor of San Francisco, then please text tie-dye to 707070 to show your support. Up next, we have Dan Lebowitz.
Hey everybody, my name's Lebo. Good to be here with you. And big congratulations to the Haight Ashbury Free Clinic and HealthRIGHT 360. That's who we're celebrating right here. And back before I was a touring musician, I spent my days down in the Haight, specifically in the basement of Haight Ashbury Music Center. I was down there repairing guitars. The area is near and dear to my heart, and I'm always psyched when I can do something to support the community down there. I guess it's been 54 years that the Haight Ashbury Free Clinic's been going. That was long before my time, but I definitely did see it up in action when I was working down there and spending my days there. I'm going to sing a song for you right now. It's a song I wrote called Two Silver Linings, and I wrote it during this whole pandemic we've been in. And kind of the idea behind it is, there's plenty of stuff surrounding us to bring us down all the time, but I think especially this past year. And I kind of got this notion that, if for each thing that brings you down, you can think of two things that are going on for you that are good, that'll bring you up, you can kind of stay on the up and up and end up on the positive. So that's the idea behind this song. It's called Two Silver Linings. And here you go. That's right. Really, with my troubles, I was stuck in my head. Rivers of emotion, waves of dread, but it's two silver linings that gets us ahead. Yes, it's two silver linings that gets us ahead. It's for Bernal Hill. Like way up on the hilltop, the air it is clear. You can see right up to the stratosphere, but it's two silver linings that gets us ahead. Yes, it's two silver linings
that gets us ahead. One for the musicians. Well, I lost all my gigs, it was giving me fear. I just wrote a song for you, I'm singing it here, and it's 2 silver linings that gets us ahead. Yes, it's 2 silver linings that gets us ahead. Alright. Well, you ain't got no work, but your days are free. You finally got some time to hold your family, and it's 2 silver linings that gets us ahead. Yes, it's 2 silver linings that gets us ahead. Woo. Everybody is a shepherd of their own damn mind, each responsible for their own good time. One step back, it just means that you're 2 steps away. Let those 2 silver linings show you the way. Hey, yeah, yeah. Well, back when we were busy, we were stuck in our doing. Now we are here instead of doing we're being, and it's 2 silver linings that gets us ahead. Yes, it's 2 silver linings that gets us ahead. Yes, it's 2 silver linings that gets us ahead. Yes, it's 2 silver linings that gets us ahead. All right, 2 silver linings. Use that to keep you on the up and up. This is Lebo signing off. See y'all real soon. Bye now.
That's incredible. Robert Walter, thank you for sharing your talent with us tonight.
Now it is my great pleasure to give a shout out to this evening's presenting sponsors. Kaiser Permanente, my insurance company, Sutter Health, CPMC, Twitter, the Vesper Society, and an anonymous friend that some of us know. They have all donated between $5,000 and $50,000 because each one of these generous funders believe in the work of HealthRIGHT 360 and its Haight Ashbury Free Clinic. HealthRIGHT 360 integrates comprehensive medical, dental, and outpatient with residential behavioral health care to improve the health, safety, and self-sufficiency of California's most vulnerable populations. We have a silent auction that's been going on and some beautiful items, including a Jerry Garcia print by Jay Blakesberg, a shirt signed by members of Big Brother and the Holding Company, and a Cynthia Gale, a limited edition, Grateful Dead, Cornell, 1977, Steal Your Face belt buckle and necklace, and more. The auction closes at 9 p.m. Winners will be notified afterwards and could be sparkled.
Watch out. Welcome next, Moonalice, featuring Chubby Wombat Moonalice. And if you know who that is, you are a fan. A fact about Moonalice, their song, It's 420 Somewhere, has been downloaded over 2 million times and by only 2 people. Very strange. Moonalice is followed by my fellow writer historian Dennis McNallly, who wrote the definitive biography on Jack Kerouac and was the official biographer and publicist of the Grateful Dead. His book, A Long Strange Trip, The Inside History of the Grateful Dead, man, was a bestseller. After Dennis, we will hear from the Ace of Cups, the beloved San Francisco rock band that began in 1967 during the Summer of Love and once opened for Jimi Hendrix. Ace of Cups, the first all-female rock band, headlined concerts for Haight Ashbury Free Clinics in the late 60s that helped to keep the doors open in a time of great need.
A giant hello to all the folks at HealthRIGHT 360. We want to thank you guys for everything you do in the city of San Francisco. We're Full Moon Alice, and we stand with you in your mission to protect those in need in our fair city. Thank you for everything, and here's a song. It's called Nick of Time.
discover that desperate feeling has moved in to stay. You feel the clock ticking, it won't go away. What do you see when you lay awake at night? Who do you really wanna be? Follow your dreams, don't ever let them slip away. Good things happen in the nick of time.
find me there in the nick of time, anytime, anywhere. Your life is a drama, twisted and strange, but you are the author, and the story can change. What do you see when you lie awake at night? Who do you really want to be? What are your dreams? Don't ever let them slip away. Good things happen in the nick of time. What do you see when you lay awake at night? Who do you really want to be? What are your dreams? Don't ever let them slip away. Good things happen in the nick of time. Good things happen in the nick of time.
Thank you all. Everybody at HealthRIGHT, we appreciate everything you do. And just know the whole Moonalice tribe is supporting you, and we hope you'll have an amazing 2021. We'll see you out on the road. Take care. Bye-bye.
I'm Dennis McNallly, and I believe in the ideal that healthcare is a right, not a privilege. I also support HealthRIGHT 360, and I hope you're enjoying the show.
Hi, I'm Denise from the Ace of Cups, and I just want to say we are so thrilled and delighted and honored to be playing at this benefit for HealthRIGHT 360. We were grateful to play in the late 1960s for the Haight Ashbury Free Clinic, which served our community with so much love and compassion, and no one else was stepping into that gap. And after a year of COVID and all of us being separated, if we ever had any doubt that health care is a right, we sure know it now, and we feel so grateful to be part of the solution that is being offered here tonight and supported. Thank you so much.
Sitting in a tenement and got no bread to pay the rent. Somebody roll up a smoke. Pass those papers. Bill collector at my door, and I know what he wants me for, but got to have another toast. Zigzag paper. They took the water, they left the pipes, left the switches, took the lights. The stove is still here, but it's broke. Sitting here by candlelight, and candles keep us warm at night. We ain't got nothing to lose. Pay your dues now. Cops, they made a raid next door, and then they got the bottom floor. There's nobody left but us two. Me and you now. I'm paranoid and very stoned. Maybe I'm disaster prone. We're talking about the Water Street Blues.
the Asa Cups recently revisited the Haight, and wow, it was really different. There was so much brightness and tie-dye and cameras, and totally different from when we lived there in 1967. It was such a great neighborhood. There was a free store, there was free music in the park, and the Haight Ashbury Free Clinic. Imagine, free healthcare. And we felt like it belonged to all of us. Now we wonder, well, who owns that over there? Things are pretty pricey. You gotta pay extra for those holes in your jeans. How about a little love on Haight?
Waller Street, oh Waller Street, Waller Street, the sweetest street in the Haight hippie nation. Colin Stanyon, also fine. But Walla, she's a friend of mine. Too bad you're going all straight. Tech invasion. You had what you needed way back then. I just wanna feel that groove again. Come on, make it real love on Haight. Come on, make it real love on Haight. Pay your dues now. Come on, make it real love on Haight. Me and you now. Come on, make it real love on Haight. Hippie nation. Come on, make it real love on Haight. Tech invasion.
Take the best from 1968.
Make it real. Far out. So cool.
Now we've got a 3-minute video we want to show you and that you'll want to see. This is life inside the HealthRIGht 360 Integrated Care Center, where thousands of vaccines have been given to a waiting and desperate community. People hoping to stay healthy and not contract the COVID-19 virus. All of us shared one of the most difficult times in our lives, but we are now looking at a future with more socializing, restaurant dining, family hugs, a summer picnic. It's not over. We are still zooming through the work week, and tonight's event is virtual instead of in person. But throughout last year, HealthRIGht 360 and its frontline workers put their own fears aside, put on PPE, and worked with thousands of patients and clients from March 2020 forward to get us to the point where the vaccine allows us to take a deep breath in relief, not a deep breath to test our lung strength, and to see a maskless smile. Here is a slice of life today at HealthRIGht 360.
When COVID-19 hit last March, the clinic staff didn't miss a beat by reacting, and they knew that they were an essential service in San Francisco and that they were going to come in and do the jobs that they had been doing pre-pandemic, and that is providing good care to underserved people in San Francisco and those most in need. No one hesitated about what their duties were going to look like. It was a really scary time for the clinic, but people knew that this was their job to keep coming in and serving. And even though our clients were going through some of the toughest times of their lives and everyone was managing their own anxieties around the pandemic, our staff was absolutely incredible, just like they always are. And it just showed how mission driven we are and that we're really here for the people and the community that we serve. And I felt really honored to work with such incredible people. And the pandemic just showed how amazing all of our staff is. So we've had to change a lot of operations during the pandemic, but the biggest thing incorporating telehealth. And we've also done things like COVID testing, and now we are a big part of the vaccine effort in San Francisco. Vaccines has been really exciting. This is something that none of us had ever been a part of before, and it was really cool to get to work with the Department of Public Health and other resources in San Francisco to get our vaccine efforts out. We also had the opportunity to work with communities that we didn't always serve. We got to vaccinate teachers and restaurant workers and other essential workers that were not necessarily clinic patients. And it was great to see how happy the community was. We got amazing donations from lots of restaurants, which was great for staff. And then we also had the opportunity to work with volunteers. It wasn't just our staff that wanted to help.
Hello, I'm Dr. Ana Valdez, and I'm the Chief Healthcare Officer at HealthRIGHT 360. I have been leading our efforts against COVID-19 during this pandemic. And it has been a long year, but it's been a really meaningful year. We have really recognized the importance of this pandemic and the fact that we're all in it together, that this public health effort can't be left to just the counties or just them or that. It really is up to all of us.
My name is Hannah Mathis, and I'm the Director of Clinical Service at the Integrated Care Center in San Francisco. Up to this date, we've done over 10,000 vaccinations in San Francisco.
HealthRIGHT 360 integrates comprehensive medical, dental, and outpatient residential behavioral health care to improve the health, safety, and self-sufficiency of California's most vulnerable populations, including people experiencing homelessness and housing insecurity, substance use, mental health disorders, trauma, chronic illnesses, and other high-risk factors. Haight Ashbury Free Clinic is the primary medical arm of this incredible organization. Tonight, you brought a ticket to attend our concert, and we are deeply appreciative, but we are asking you to help us with this effort. HealthRIGHT 360 is providing a non-billable but much-needed service, providing vaccines to the community. We strongly believe in helping everyone get throughout the pandemic, and have redeployed frontline healthcare workers to not only give vaccines, but now fan out into areas of San Francisco where we will provide education around the vaccine before we can vaccinate. People, help us. Help get everyone vaccinated. Please help us with this necessary and noble work by texting the word tie-dye to this number, 707070. I believe we have people watching right now who have the capability and desire to help us with $5,000, $10,000. If this is what you're able to do, or anything, please text tie-dye to 707070.
Sunshine, you are the best.
Yeah.
And now, here are some folks I know you want to meet. First up, Peggy Caserta. And for those of you who do not know her name, you are in for a treat and some Haight Ashbury history. She is followed by Dave Getz, the original drummer for Big Brother and the Holding Company, followed by author, actor, director, activist Peter Coyote, who narrates every documentary known to man or woman, even Dr. Dave, and the two and only Hot Tuna, Jorma Kaukonen and Jack Casady. Sit back and enjoy the set.
I'm so glad to be here tonight, and it's actually not like me to be here tonight. But the reason is because I want to thank Dr. David Smith. He saved my life when I was 28 years old, and what a life it's been. Something happened. I still don't know what happened, but the psychedelic revolution exploded in my doorway at Nasitica. I mean, it just went, and all of a sudden, there's all these young people coming into that Haight, artists, musicians, I would say young entrepreneurs floating. It was then becoming Haight Ashbury, where before it was just Haight Street. I think it was called the Haight District. And for a while, I had the only Levi bell-bottoms in the world. But the idea was to clear your boot top without stovepipes. And we were selling 5 boots. And it wouldn't quite clear the top. It would catch on the top. And so I went back to them and had them widen them. That's when they started being called bell-bottoms. Bill and I, he wasn't rich then either. He said, I'm going to give the party. And you think I could charge $1 to get in? And I said, he said, I'm going to have the dead, Quicksilver. I said, yeah, do 3. Don't go any higher than 3. And it packed. So he came back the next day and he said, do you know what happened last night? I said, well, I was there, Bill. And he said, you know what I'm going to do? I said, let me guess. You're going to have another party. And that started Bill Graham Presents. Dr. David Smith saved my life, literally. And what a life it's been. Truly, I would hate to have had it cut off at 28. All that's happened, and good and bad, but I wouldn't change any of it. Because he touched me, and I was blazing with fever. And sepsis was running through me, blood poisoning. And he said, call an ambulance right now. And I mean, they took me to Presbyterian, and I woke up with tubes. I can't say enough about him and the clinic and how selflessly they gave and gave and gave to all of us, especially us hippies in the beginning. Lord knows we had no place to go. And we didn't want to leave our neighborhood because we weren't looked upon with favor in the 60s. I would do anything that I possibly could to help the Haight Ashbury Free Medical Clinic.
In 1967, when the Haight Ashbury Free Clinic first started, Big Brother was one of the bands that played benefits for, and one of the benefits, or maybe several of the benefits we played over the course of that time was for the Haight Clinic. And we were very connected with that world. We knew what was going to happen when even before the Summer of Love, people were predicting that all of these people were going to come to San Francisco. That's when the media started to focus on the music in San Francisco. And we foresaw the people in the bands and people who were the original people in the bands in the Haight Ashbury knew what was going to happen. And so we were very supportive of the Haight Free Clinic. And I think what we want to say here is that we're still supporting the Haight Free Clinic and that they do a wonderful thing. And if it weren't for the Haight Free Clinic in 1967, what happened in the Summer of Love could have been much more of a disaster than it was, because a lot of people came to San Francisco, and there were people who came from the Midwest, kids who really didn't have the background to deal with the subculture that was going on, and there were and the drugs started to get harder, and things like speed and heroin and things like that started to appear. Whereas in the beginning it was mostly just grass and LSD and things like that. Although there was always like the meth thing was always happening, I think, from early on, but that became epidemic in '67. That's when it really started to become epidemic, and you had more like, rather than artists and musicians doing it as a kind of a search for creativity, you had more like kids doing it who didn't kind of know what was going to happen, but just wanted to get high and basically escape from their lives in wherever, Illinois and Indiana and Ohio and wherever they were coming from. So the Haight Clinic really served an incredible purpose in getting started to really save that community. And we want to be supportive of it still, and I hope people will still support it. What I'm going to do, I'm not a guitar player or really a great ukulele player, but I wanted to play a song that Big Brother and the Holding Company, which was the band I was part of, this was a song we did at that time. It was one of the first songs that Janis Joplin sang when she came to the band and joined the band, which was in 1966. And she had been in a band, a jug band in Austin, Texas, in the early 60s, that was called the Waller Creek Boys. And in that band was a guy named Powell St. John, who also later came to San Francisco as part of a band called Mother Earth around that same time. But before that, he had written this song for Janis, and this was a song called Bye Bye Baby that Janice played for the band, and we started to do it, except when we did it we changed the tempos and we kind of did all kinds of tricks to it and kind of messed around with it. And I've always loved to play it on the ukulele in the sort of the same way that Janice originally did it, with this kind of old-timey, old jazz kind of feel about it. So that's what I'm going to try to do here, and it's called Bye Bye Baby, and it goes like this. Bye, 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 baby, bye, bye. I may be seeing you around. You changed your living standards and moved uptown. Bye bye baby, bye bye. So long, my honey, so long. Too bad you had to drift away, 'cause I could use some company right here on this road I'm on today. Well, I get the feeling I could chase you clear on into fall, and wind up feeling put down, strung out and stalled. I ain't got time to wait on you and fetch your Super Bowl. I got a lot of things I gotta do. Bye, 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 baby, bye bye. Too bad you had to drift away, 'cause I could use some company right here on this road I'm on today. I get the feeling I could chase you clear on in the fall, and wind up feeling put down, strung out and stalled. I ain't got time to wait on you and fetch your Super Bowl. I got lots of things I gotta do. Bye, 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 baby, bye bye. I guess you know you're on your own, 'cause I could use some company right here on this road I'm on today. Bye, bye baby, baby, bye bye. That's Bye Bye Baby.
Good evening, everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to be invited to the 54th anniversary of the Haight Ashbury Free Clinic. And as one of the founding members of the Diggers, I've been asked to speak a little bit about the cultural precursors, including the first free medical clinic founded by the Diggers, which David Smith took over or followed and professionalized and did a much better job than we did of serving people continuously for 54 years. But still, we have some things to be proud about. If I take January 3rd, 1966 as a convenient starting point, that's the day when the psychedelic shop opened, run by Ron and Jay Thalen. It culminated in a kind of recognition that a cultural turmoil was already beginning in what had been a blue-collar and pretty transient neighborhood made up of students from University of California Medical Center and working people. The rents were cheap, there were plenty of rooms, and little by little various people began moving in, me among them. My first apartment was at Haight and Clayton Street in August of 1964. So when the psychedelic shop opened, there was already a palpable interest in psychedelics, in social transformation, in expanding consciousness. And the Diggers developed because as the Haight Ashbury developed and publicity about it developed and newspaper stories kept going around the country, kids began pouring into the city. And the city was doing nothing to help them. They would read about free love, and they would see what were then just community concerts. The bands were not yet so famous, and when the Diggers would hold a concert in the Panhandle in Golden Gate Park, we would ask the Grateful Dead or the Sons of Champlain or whoever was around in the neighborhood, and they were happy to play for their own people. And this kind of cultural cohesion was reported on by the press. Kids in Omaha and Cincinnati and Atlanta would read about it, and they would come to California. And pretty soon the Haight Ashbury was pretty congested, and kids were hungry. They had no place to sleep. They were getting ill. They had bad practices. And the city was doing nothing about it except capitalizing on the tourism. Greyhound buses were coming through the city, and the Diggers were one of the first to begin spray painting the lenses of the cameras that were photographing us like we were orangutans. So the Diggers came out of the San Francisco Mime Troupe, which is still alive and thriving today. And at that time, we thought of ourselves as a guerrilla theater, an agit-prop political theater. We used Italian commedia dell'arte theatrical devices from the 17th century. Think of it as adult Punch and Judy shows. And we took these shows out to the park, these stock characters, the amorous maid, the old miser, the blowhard, the lover, and we rewrote them to discuss contemporary political events. And many of us felt that we could do more. And so a number of us left and began to take on the challenge of creating theatrical events that people might not even recognize as theatrical events, but which might carry a kind of political freight with them. So the first thing we did was begin feeding people in Golden Gate Park. And all credit goes to the women who went out and pleaded with the Italian greengrocers out at the farmer's market. And they gave us boxes of vegetables ripe that day, which they didn't want to take home. And we put them into huge milk cans and destroyed any number of apartment kitchens, cooking them into a stew. And we took them out to the park. And the only requirement was that you pass through a huge yellow rectangle, 6 feet by 6 feet. And it was painted yellow, and it was called the free frame of reference. You just had to bring a bowl and a spoon. You stepped through the free frame of reference, and you were in a different world. You were in a world that you had imagined and were making real by acting out. And that was the Diggers' challenge. And because much of the social discourse at that time, or the revolutionary discourse, was basically socialist or communist, we were artists. That posed a particular challenge to us because we didn't want to do plays about heroic bus drivers or elevator operators. We wanted to be authentic, and we wanted a culture in which we could be authentic. So one of the things that the Diggers did was we did everything anonymously, and we did everything without money, feeling that if you were doing it and you weren't getting rich or famous, you probably meant it. So, for instance, we set up a free store. We set up several. And the first one approximated a garbage dump, but everything in it was free. But finally, we had a beautiful storefront at Cole and Carl with windows all the way around and a counter and everything from clothes to furniture to tools to televisions, appliances, all retrofitted, all fixed up, and all completely free. And the unstated supposition of it was, why do you want to become an employee to make the money to become a consumer? We'll give you the stuff for nothing. Now, what do you want to do with your life? And it was quite a radical venture, and there were people that got transformed very quickly. One of my favorite stories was watching an elderly woman picking through stuff and surreptitiously putting it in a bag. And I knew that she thought she was stealing. So I went up to her. I said, "Excuse me, but you can't steal here." And she turned on me completely indignant. She said, "What do you mean? How dare you? I'm not stealing." I said, "I know you can't steal because it's a free store. Everything in here is free. You just take what you want and you leave with it." And she said, "It's free." I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, then get out of my face." I said, "Okay." So I went back to my counter and she left. 2 days later, she came in with a big flat of day-old donuts, which she put on the counter. And this woman got the free exchange just like that. We distributed draft cards to soldiers going to Vietnam, and Billy would take off his uniform and hang it in the clothes and leave as Bobby from Chillicothe. And one of the things that we did was we prevailed on the medical students at University of California to come down to the free store on Wednesday nights and treat people, because there was everything from venereal disease to coughs and colds and allergies that were plaguing the community. And these kids were basically runaways. They had no place to go, they had nothing to do, and no help. So that was the first medical clinic. It was not nearly as sophisticated as what David Smith took over and made run, but it was the germ of an idea. It was free. And as such, it was a kind of prototype of something that we hoped could be replicated. So I'm proud to say that the Diggers are still alive. We're older, we're grandparents, but there are 108 of us who have still made something called the Free Family Union, and we chip in money every month, and we're supporting 14 or 15 of our members who got old and are poor. And we can give them $200 to $300 a month on top of their Social Security. So despite the fact that we had to get jobs and make adjustments and the world did not come out exactly the way we wanted it, we didn't give up our values. And because people like David Smith picked it up and continued it, and all the assistants and doctors who volunteered, those values are still alive. So I'm just here saying a heartfelt thank you to all of you who showed up, a heartfelt thank you to David, who to me is a great pioneer, and a heartfelt thank you to all those people who shared the dream and put their lives on the line to imagine a world they wanted to live in and to try to make it real by acting it out. Thank you so much.
When Dr. David Smith opened Haight Ashbury Free Clinic in 1967, it was the first non-sectarian free medical clinic in the United States. Now, as HealthRIGHT 360, there are programs in 11 California counties providing integrated medical, dental, behavioral health, outpatient, and residential treatment, and reentry services to over 40,000 people annually. We are very excited to be part of this 2021 Black Tie and Tie-Dye benefit concert. We hope you enjoy the music and support HealthRIGHT 360 as they improve the health, safety, and productivity of our community's most vulnerable populations.
Well, that barbecue king, he's coming to town with his shiny pants. Lord, you know he looks like a clown. I said, cook your barbecue, well, any way you please. He's filled up your kettle, babe, with every pound of meat man can squeeze. That barbecue king, well, he's having fun. He's putting his taste, Lordy, on your barbecue bun. Cook your barbecue any way you please. You know he's filling up your kettle, babe. With every pound of me, man can squeeze. That barbecue king, he's got it made with diamond stick pin, Lordy knowing garlic pomade. Cook your barbecue any way you please. You know he's filling up your kettle, babe, with every pound of me, man can squeeze. That barbecue king, he's coming to town with his shiny pants, Lordy know, looks like a clown. I said, cook your barbecue any way you please. You know he's filling up your kettle, babe, with every pound of me, man can squeeze. Shoreline smaller every day. Wonder why we feel this way. Well, you don't know, I got nothing left to say, 'cause I've been blown across the water like a ship ain't got no sail. That ain't no way to be. Feel that longing loud and clear, dead end streets and alley here. Well, when you're flying, you got nothing left to fear, unless you're blown across the water like a ship ain't got no sail. That ain't no way to be. Well, winter wind keeps blowing through the trees, but life keeps smiling gaily as you please. silver birches lying by the road. Branches lined against the falling snow. Left the shelter yesterday, had to reach a place some way. Well, you can't find it, I got nothing left to say, 'cause we've been blown across the water like a ship ain't got no sail. That ain't no way to be. You know, I've been blown across the water like a ship ain't got no sail. That ain't no way to be.
Thank you.
It was terrific. True icons, hot tuna. Hope you're enjoying this as much as I am.
Okay, this is my final push. Please, if you're able to donate $1,000, $500, $100, $5, anything, every gift we are grateful for. And anything that you can do to contribute to HealthRIGHT 360's effort in making sure everyone in our community is vaccinated, we would appreciate. A fact you may not know, 78% of the HealthRIGHT 360 clients are very low income and are experiencing homelessness or are marginally housed. To help everyone, please text the word tie-dye to the number 707070 and it will be scrolled below.
70, 70, 70. That's what my optometrist says I am, actually. Okay, I know what you've been waiting for me to say. Please welcome a true friend to us all, Bob Weir, along with Wolf Brothers.
Well, this train got to run today. Spend a little time on the mountain. Spend a little time on the hill. Heard some say better run away. Others say you better stand still. I don't know, I've been told, when it's hard to run with the weight of gold. I don't know, I've heard it said, it's just as hard with the weight of but it's not just change in style. One step done and the other begun, and I wonder how many a mile. Spend a little time on the mountain. Spend a little time on the hill. Things went down we don't understand, but I guess in time we will. I don't know, I was told in the heat of the sun a man died of cold. Keep on coming or standing wait with the sun so hot and the hour so one way or another, one way or another, one way or another. You can't overlook the light check of any other highway to ride. Well, it's got no sign or dividing line, very few roads to guide. Spend a little time on the mountain. Spend a little time on the hill. I saw things getting out of hand. Well, I guess they always will. I don't know, I've been told, if that horse won't pull, you got to carry that load. I don't know whose back's that strong. Maybe find out before too long. One way or another.
to give. One way or another, one way or another, one way or another, well, this darkness got to give.